The content and opinions shared on Talking Randomish are intended for entertainment and informational purposes. They reflect the personal views of the host and guests and do not constitute professional advice or represent any affiliated organization.
We're talking randomly. Talking random. We're talking randomly. Talking random. Hey, you. They coming one and all into the barbershop where the conversation's right. We're talking on it all and you can even call in just to set the places right. The ladies and the dudes can pull up, come on through when it's all good with y'all. 'Cause we're talking randomly. Talking random. We're talking randomly. Talking random. We're talking randomly. Talking random. We're talking randomly. Talking random.
Is this the barbershop?
Yes, the shop.
It's the barbershop.
Yes.
Well, I mean, we can't talk straight in the barbershop. Then where can we talk straight? We can't talk straight nowhere else. You know, this ain't nothing but healthy conversation.
What this is Talking Randomish, and welcome to Talking Randomish. This ain't nothing but some good old-fashioned barbershop style conversation. In this here barbershop, no conversation is taboo. We don't have a one rule and one rule only, and that rule is say what you mean. Mean what you say, but just don't be mean when you say it. Right now, we are live on Facebook. We on the Sherman Trail page. We on the Talking Randomish page. We are on the Kiley Carter page. We are on the Batonia King page. We are on the Lee Thornton page, Sam Thomas page. Man, wherever you can find us, man. That's TALK, comma up top N, apostrophe N, TALK, apostrophe N, Talking Random-ish. Find us, like us, comment, subscribe. Because if you subscribe, every time we come on, you'll get a ting. You take that ting and follow. And then you share it with somebody. Because hopefully, we going to give you something you can use. Give you something somebody else can use. I mean, just come on in the barbershop and kick it with us, you know. We like that. We like to come in and just kick it. I mean, you know, a lot of good things go down in the barbershop. A lot of good conversations. A lot of good conversations have been had. And it's going to continue. So you might as well come on in and get inside the mind of. Because, you know, we feel that the barbershop is the heart of the community. And one thing that we at Talking Randomish try to do is help you get the information you need to make the best decision that you can make on whatever it is that we rapping about. And what we try to do is to get a subject matter expert in the building on whatever it is we talking about. To give you a little bit more clarity, to give us a little bit more clarity, to get the world a little bit more clarity. But you know, this is what we do, man. And but you know, we gonna get started with the conversation. But before we get started with the conversation, we like to thank a few people. I don't know what these computers and things over here doing. Everything's shaking and one's on. But yeah. But first of all, I want to thank Mr. Rick Dunn for allowing us to use this space, for allowing us to come in and open up the barbershop as we do. because what he's doing is very important and vital in the community. He is giving kids that look like us an opportunity to find their place, to find their niche, to find something that they love and enjoy doing. And so for that, he deserves all the praise and the thanks for what he's doing. But you know, everything is going up but the paycheck. So, you know, sometimes we need a little help, a little something. If y'all don't mind, you know, everybody say they want to give back. Fruity pepper wings has been hot. They've been jumping off the truck. But he got some of the best sauces you gonna ever find. If you can find them in wherever you at, if you can catch them, get some. Let her know Talking Random is sent you that way. We also want to thank Hall's Family Party Rentals. Got all your bouncy house needs. Y'all know this is still, I know school is back in session, but still some family reunions going on. Class reunions, celebrating whatever, celebrating life, celebrating whatever it is you want to celebrate. The kids still need to go outside, you know. Get your bouncy houses, get your cotton candy machine, get your popcorn machine. They got it all. And Quinn's visual impact is also something that she does. You know, she can help you create your logos. She can help you with your flyers, whatever your event is coming up. She got you. Tell her Talking Random message. Tonight, man, it's just gonna be another one of these conversations, man. We're finna have a conversation with some people that this is something I love to do. I love talking to people that I grew up with. People that probably knew some of me before I knew some of me. People that has walked some of the same life that I have walked. And then we at an age where a lot of life for us has happened. And I love to get with these people and hear their stories. Hear how they have come to where they are today. And tonight we gonna do that. Tonight we got, like I say, one of the guys that's, man, we came a long ways together. From Broad Street, Kingdom Hall, to see the show. I mean, our families know each other, connected, we intertwined. Man, and one of the smartest human beings I have, if you have sat down with him, you know very quickly he's definitely one of the most intelligent men walking. But if you know his family, it's almost what they do. Man, we don't do all that. So we do how we do it. Who are you and why are you in our barbershop?
Thanks for having me, Rick. I'm Kiley Carter, a native of Athens, ever since about 1972. First place we stayed was Nellyby Apartments. In 72 to 75. Been on, like I said, been on the east side pretty much all of my life. 55, I'm retired from the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta, off of 1600 Clifton Road. I was a budget analyst for 16 years, as well as a programmatic analyst. Did a short stint, like 5 years with Homeland Security as well, on the programmatic side of things with the CDC. That's just a little bit about me.
Well, I want to go back. You started a little bit. I guess my earliest recollection of you was probably at the Kingdom Hall. Like I said, we was on Vine Street, Broad Street, right, and right now in Chicopee. It's Chicopee now.
Chicopee Mills.
Yeah. Right next to what is now the University. It used to be next to the University of Georgia, but now University owned that the building that of the Kingdom Hall that we used to go to, and then I remember you at Barnett shows, and well, tonight we gonna talk about disabilities. I mean, and how it has affected your life. I'm gonna tell you what it kind of looked like through my eyes, and then after I tell you what it looked like in my eyes, we want to hear your story, because as I can remember growing up, we knew you were different, but you did everything we did. I mean, I remember seeing you on the kickball when we playing kickball. I mean, in the halls, kicking it, chilling. Hell, you was in field service. We was all in field service together. So I don't, like I say, we knew you were different, but God, what was life for you like? First, what is your disability, for those that don't know? And what was life for you like? Because like I say, to us, it's God. Everything we were doing, you were there.
Well, I have cerebral palsy, and it's spastic cerebral palsy. And what that is, it's tight muscles. They have different forms, and I know mine is spastic. It affects my arms and my legs, and that's pretty much it that it affects. Growing up for me was kind of different because I was standoffish, as far as kind of didn't. Sometimes when I got by myself, you guys didn't see it, but I pretty much was a loner. Loved video games and that type of thing. And well, I'm gonna go back and talk about the kickball.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because I actually, this is around the 3rd grade. I actually came home from Barnett shows and I was crying. And I told Annette, and for those who don't know, Annette is my mother. But I told Annette I was crying and I was like, they wouldn't let me play kickball. And her words were, I pay taxes. If you want to play kickball, you can play kickball. And I was crying. I was like, but they call me crippled. And the reason I bring up they call me crippled, even though I walked a different walk, I never was in pain, Rick. And what happened was one day at Burnt Shows, they had a reflective mirror when you come out the front doors, those orange doors. And I happened to catch myself walking. And I knew, okay, that's what they laughing at. Because I never was in pain, so I never knew what they were laughing at. I pretty much thought I was like everybody else.
Wow.
And that was pretty much it. And I think, like I said, we moved on Bailey Street in '75. So I had to start going to Overthorpe Elementary. And my dad used to take me to, well, first I started riding the short bus over to Overthorpe. And back then, this probably was about 76, 77, somewhere around there. Back then, it was everybody, everybody that had a disability was in one class. So I remember meeting Tim Renberry. And at the time I met Tim, he was actually in a wheelchair when I first met Tim. He wasn't walking. And so, like I said, they had everybody in the same class. So I was young, but I was in a class with 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, and that type of thing. And they rode the bus with me and so forth. And what happened was because of the Kingdom Hall and that type of thing, I was a very inquisitive kid. I wanted to know why this, why that. And one day on the bus, ride from home, one of the older kids popped me. They hit me, And of course I was crying and so forth. And I went home and told Walter, I told my dad, and anybody knows my dad, they know he was crazy about Hucklebuck or sports. So when I told him what happened, because it was an older kid, I think they were like 13, but they popped me and I was crying. And so my dad went out and stopped the bus the next day, got on the bus and was like, who did it? And I pointed it out, and he told the bus driver, he said, well, my son won't be riding anymore. I'll take him from there on because I will end up hurting somebody about my child. And from that point on, he drove me to Overthorpe Elementary. I'm gonna tell you a story, Rick. They had us flipping off tables in PE. And one day I messed around and flipped off the table, and I flipped 2 times, not one. And I hit my head up against the divider. You know how they have the divider to separate the rooms? I hit my head up against the divider and it knocked me unconscious. Well, they didn't take me, the school didn't take me to the hospital or anything like that. They took me to the school nurse. She gave me sniffing sauce, and she was saying, because I kept on saying, I'm sleepy, so they wouldn't let me go to sleep. But it took them several hours to get in touch with my mom, get in touch with her, and they didn't tell her actually what happened. They basically said I fell, and they weren't earnest with her. But me being the kid I was, she came to the school. I showed her the table, and I showed her exactly what I did, and that type of thing. So those were some of the experiences. I can say this, even though I had cerebral palsy and I used to wear braces on my legs, believe it or not, I actually came in 3rd place field day running against straight legs. So if it was up to me to describe me back in my younger day, it wasn't nothing that I feared or couldn't do.
Yeah, I mean, because like I say, yeah, but like I say, everything that we were doing, you did. So it was just, okay, that got it. So that's why I say, what was it like for you maneuvering through the schools? Because now we know that there are, for those that have disabilities, there are services, different services in the schools and thus like that. Did you, because I know how intelligent you are, did you have an IEP? Did you have to have services, special services for school?
I needed them, but at that time they weren't available. And actually, bringing that point up, I actually repeated the first grade, and they, like I said, they didn't have the services, so I repeated the first grade, and then in the third grade, they put me in remedial classes. And the reason that they put me in the remedial classes is because because of my spastic cerebral palsy, I wrote a lot slower, so I never could really finish classwork and that type of thing. So what they did was pull me out of the so-called regular class maybe twice a week, and then I would go and have a teacher work with me and so forth. And honestly, I was too fast for it, you know, and so when I said too fast, they would put me in there and I could do the work, but what was supposed to happen is extra time.
Yeah.
And so back then they didn't allow extra time, so like I said, I was in remedial classes, and I actually thought I was dumb, you know, because I never could finish the basic skills. The basic skills test.
With the hour basic skills or something we had to take back then?
I never could finish it. So as far as the ratings, when they marked me, I was always 50%. So I pretty much thought I was a dummy. And I do think Miss Sprout, that was my first grade teacher. I love her dearly. I thank her. My second grade teacher was Miss Cornish.
Miss Cornish.
And I love her dearly. Third grade teacher was Dolly Davis. Fourth grade teacher was Miss Horn. Fifth grade teacher didn't play the radio, was Miss Fur.
Miss Fur.
Anna,
yes,
Anna Fur.
Yeah.
And Anna, she liked me pretty good, but I ran my mouth, big mouth. So she said, Tyler said he can't pledge allegiance to the flag, but he sure run his mouth. And you know, she got on me a couple times, but I tell you what Miss Fur did. She allowed me, and anybody who know me first, she kept a nice Lincoln Continental. Well, she had a burgundy Lincoln Continental, and she allowed me to ride in it. She talked with me, and this was fifth grade. I said to myself, if I can get through the fifth grade, I promise that I was gonna do better. And one of my classmates, Lisa Collins, because I think Miss Fur had her grading the basic skills test, and I didn't do well. So I thought I was gonna repeat the fifth grade, but fortunately I didn't, and I moved on to the sixth. Moved on to middle school, 6th, 7th grade. I ran into Miss Smith. She was a math teacher, She stayed in, or she stays in Berkeley Hills. She let me know who she was and so forth, because she's actually, her maiden name was the Burgess, but she's not related to our family, but she taught in Overthorpe.
Okay.
Once she told me she knew my mom, auntie, and so forth, I was a star student then. But she took an interest in me. But I still wasn't doing that great in middle school because I didn't have extra time. So my GPA was probably like a C or something like that because I didn't get extra time, even though I was supposed to be allotted the extra time. They were getting funding. I know it now, but I didn't know it then. They were getting funding, and you know, like I said, I did pretty bad, you know, but things changed once I got to Cedar. They changed up for me a little bit. Still was in remedial classes, but and I didn't have an IDP or any of that. I think it was around my senior year that I got in touch with Vote Rehab, Gilda Barnwell, I think, and I found out about the extra time and so forth.
So, see, first, got family back in the building. What's going on, my guy?
Hey man, what's going on, brother? You doing all right today?
Yes, sir. How about yourself?
Man, I'm cool, man. I'm sorry for being late.
Hey, man.
You know, but I gotta apologize. They were in revival over there at Little Creek Baptist. Shout out to them, and so we had to go ahead and handle the service real quick. And then once we handled everything we needed to handle, I said I gotta go ahead and come and see my brother in the barbershop. So I appreciate you, brother.
Hey man, we sure appreciate you, man. Cause anytime I can sit around and get, like I told. Anytime we can get old good thugs in the building,
Oh man,
we love that, especially one you, because I mean, you are one of our brothers, and enjoy having conversations with you. How's the lovely wife?
Oh yeah, she's beautiful, man. She's beautiful. She's doing great. She's at home, most likely either on the couch with the feet up, hopefully, but she's probably knowing her busy doing something else. But I'll make sure to let her know that you send her love, and most likely she's listening right now. So hey baby,
Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Tell her who you are, man. They don't know.
I'm just nobody trying to tell everybody about something. Name is Robert Tucker. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I work as a therapist here in the Athens area. I just enjoy, being able to talk about mental health every now and then, and whatever else, comes up in the conversation.
Hey man, and that's that. Like I said, that's maybe you can answer this question that I have, because this is my boy Kiley Carter.
Nice to meet you, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
cerebral palsy.
Okay.
And I've been knowing him since we were this big.
Yeah.
And how the conversation came about was there was nothing that I can remember as a kid that he couldn't do because he did everything we did.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and my question to him was, how was it different for him? And for him, because I know now, service, you hear about services and stuff, things of that nature. I get you came in and heard him say that he didn't hear about services till his senior year, which would have been 89.
Yeah, 89 was actually my junior year.
Okay.
But I graduated in 3.
Yeah.
Because what I didn't say earlier was when I repeated the first grade, I pretty much went to the universal God Almighty and asked him. Didn't tell Annette, didn't tell Walt. I asked him to allow me to march with 89, and I forgot about it. I did this at the age that I repeated the first grade. I forgot about it, and it didn't resurface in my mind until my junior year in high school because I became associated with a female from Clark Central who, encouraged me to apply for college and so forth. And she
Power
was
of a woman. Go
she,
ahead.
she was at the top of her class and so forth, and she just gave me some encouragement. So what I did was, because I was taking remedial English, and she said, I think you need to apply to Albany State. And so my junior year, I took myself out of remedial classes. I was in Mr. Johnson's class. You know Mr. Johnson that dressed real clean?
Yeah.
I was in his class. I took myself out of the remedial English, put myself in regular English, and actually aced it. I actually aced it. And I was able to graduate out of summer school. So I graduated on time, but it was out of summer school. But it was thanks to, somebody giving me encouragement.
The power of a woman. I'm gonna say it again. Yeah. So, I guess my question may be for the both of y'all. So do we know when did these services actually started? When they started giving folks with people with disabilities services, like he was supposed to get this extra time, things of that nature. Do we know when that actually started? And I guess my other question would be, how could he be missed or not given this stuff when, I guess looking at him, he's disabled. How could that be missed?
So, on the history piece, I don't let me be the one to start trying to tell stories.
Okay.
But what I will say is that, I grew up in between the 80s and 90s, you know what I'm saying? So in that time, you made something work. And so for a lot of people who had disabilities, developmental disabilities, learning disabilities, you really didn't have a lot of services. You didn't have a lot of support. People were placed in certain classrooms, and then they didn't get a lot of assistance even beyond that. There would be some people who would have a learning disability, but because that one learning disability was enough for them to not integrate into, say, the regular classroom, quote unquote, they got sent to remedial classes, right? And so, but this kid is probably smart in so many different areas, and you had to have someone backing you up to actually put you in the right classes, put you on the right path, like you were put on, in order to say that, this kid isn't, this kid shouldn't be missed. This kid actually is really smart. Put them on the path. So that's what ends up happening, unfortunately. So when you were asking about when did it start, I can't tell you when it actually started. What I can tell you though is that for a lot of the schools that I grew up in the places that I knew of, we didn't have it either. There were people who were missed constantly, during that particular time, and we ended up over time trying to figure out, as a society, how to actually start giving people more and more opportunities. Anyway, that we're really comfortable talking about any kind of disability, anybody who is differently abled. We have been uncomfortable in those conversations until fairly recently, I would believe anyway. So, the recent spaces are inviting into those particular areas. Whereas, where I grew up and when I grew up, you didn't see that happening a lot. And that's a shame, because what you end up having is lots of people who have potential missing out on being able to reach the fullness of their potential, because instead of being supported and getting the extra support, they were just put inside and they were just pushed aside. Yeah. And not even just, put into a classroom, because I don't want to say, say anything negative about the classroom they were placed in. But for some of those spaces, and you can speak to this probably more better than I can, it felt more like they were put into spaces just to exist rather than actually given the opportunity to learn something. And these are kids who actually could have learned, but because of a differently abled space that they were in, nobody was interested because they didn't look the part.
Yeah. And he's absolutely correct. And actually, Rick, I just was a placeholder. Now, here's the thing. Nobody's going to tell you that. But I know that I was. Mm-hmm. And so what became my ace in the hole was I loved poetry. And I could write. And I knew how to study. I couldn't necessarily do it with other people because they weren't understanding what I was going through. So how I was able to exist and take myself out of the remedial class is when I studied for my test and so forth, I wrote it in poetry format. And in writing it in poetry format, I was able to ace English, even though I took remedial. And then my counselor, the thing is, to show you how the system will fail you, I'm a JAG for life. Mm-hmm. But the counselor at Cedar shows, how can you miss, I'm in remedial class with Mr. Johnson, I take myself out of fundamental English, put myself in regular English, nobody questioned it, nobody said anything, counselor or anything. And what ended up happening, Rick, is I aced it. I got most improved in science. I got the honor roll. So they had an award ceremony 2 days after my 18th birthday, May the 22nd. I didn't go because I wasn't invited. Okay, I go to school, go to Cedar the next day. White kids and black kids, where were you? They call your name 3-4 times. I didn't know anything about it. I got a congratulation letter a couple days later. Had to pick my awards and stuff up at the office. I didn't bring it tonight, but I got proof of my honor roll. I don't have my science certificate, but I got the honor roll certificate. And like I said, I got it 2 days after my 18th birthday.
Brother, you sound like an honor roll student, honestly, so you don't need to bring any proof up here, man.
But like I said, once you talk,
that's what I'm saying.
like I said, once you talk to him long enough, you quickly find out he's one of the most intelligent people you will ever find,
Absolutely.
will ever meet. When did you realize you was a smart guy? Because you said earlier you felt like you was dumb because you wasn't allowed to finish a lot of the tests because of your abilities. When did you know that you
it was
pretty
around,
damn smart?
It was around well, I'll tell you what it was. It was my freshman year. It was my freshman year at Albany State. And here's the kicker. Albany State didn't give me extra time on the entrance exam. Therefore, I didn't have to take remedial English, had to take remedial math.
Yeah.
So I had a college professor, older female, melanated female. Kiley, you're not in trouble, but I need you to stay after class. And I stayed after class, and she said, Kiley, did you get extra time on the entrance exam for Albany State? And I said, no. She said, did you get extra time in elementary school? I said, no. She said, did you get extra time in middle? I said, no. She said, what about high school? I said, no. She looked up at me and said, and you made it to college? She said, I've noticed that you're the last one to finish. We've taken 4 tests. You're the last one to finish, but you got the highest average in here. So she directed me. She said, I've got your back 100%. She said, it's law. And I know she know what she was talking about because they passed the ADA Title II a year after I graduated in 1990. So I went, to my professor, go in an hour early, take the first part of the test. When the students come in for the test, I turn my first part in, they give me the second part, I finish up. I didn't finish up at Albany State, even though that's where my heart is. I was vice president of the freshman class. But I transferred because what happened was Albany State didn't have a decent transit system at the time that I went in '89. And I got to thank Robert Finch and Phoebe Hightower. Robert and Phoebe were one of the reasons that I went, because Robert came back to see the shows, he talked with us, he suit and tie, that type of thing. I went down there, and I went down there like 2 years, but because the transit system was so messed up, I had to transfer back here, and I finished up at Bernal. I transferred in with a 2.8. I finished with a 3.89 or 87.
Ooh.
Just because of the extra time, but I think I had to take 17 classes. I got 14 A's and 3 B's. All my B's were 89. I had enough points to take 3 points from each one of my A's and make it, each one of my A's and make my B's A's. So it's funny because one of the number one support systems I had was Annette Carter, and I really appreciate her because you imagine a parent hearing from her so-called friend, I don't see what you're sending that boy to school for. Ain't nobody gonna hire him. Now this is a so-called friend. So, long story short, in working at CDC, like I said, I was a budget analyst, programmatic analyst, had a secret clearance. I worked with the division of the Strategic National Stockpile. And I don't know if you guys know anything about the Strategic National Stockpile. What it is anytime you have hurricane or any type of catastrophe or whatnot, if we get a call from the president, they got a 50-ton push package that got to be anywhere in the world within 12 hours. They have their own plane and that type of thing. So I'm very appreciative of that and the experience that it gave me. Like I said, I don't get around as good now because of other issues, but I actually, I remember about to leave CDC, and I was working with the stockpile, and a guy said, my supervisor, Bob, said, can you be at the airport at 7 in the morning? And this was like, he just gave me a notice about an hour before I got off. Mind you, I got to drive from Atlanta to Athens. I told him, sure. I put my steel-toe boots on, blue jeans, got to the airport. Hey, let's work. So, recognized in life, and I did this kind of early. I used to when I was smaller. I actually remember probably being about 4 or 5. And when you're that young, you go to church or you go to the Kingdom Hall or whatnot, they were saying, well, all you got to do is go to God. And at the age I was, I'm thinking I pray hard enough, I'm going to end up walking straight. You see what I'm saying? So then I done it a couple times. It's like, and I think I remember probably saying some cuss words to God, but I didn't understand it that young. So when I was about 16 years old, it hit me. And I said, why not me? You know what I'm saying? And I welcomed it. At about 16, I said, shit, excuse my French, but I said, why shouldn't it be me? What's so special about Kiley that I shouldn't have it? And so then I embraced it. and I learned how to make my NOs not ordinary. That's what I call my NOs, not ordinary. But I made them do YES. So I got some no's, but I made them do yes. You see.
Mm-hmm.
That's how and I kind of, that's my philosophy now, that, hey, you know, if I could do it again, I'd do it the same way, because I'd rather walk crooked. I'll walk to you crooked and talk to you straight, rather than walk straight and talk crooked. And you got so many people in the world now, that's what they do. They walk straight, but they talk crooked.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, let's get into the other part of your story. Because there's another part of the story. And let's get into that as soon as we get back. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
Wing King. Wing King food truck coming to a town near you. Follow us on Facebook, IG, and TikTok. It's love at first bite. For your next party, shop Paul Family Party Rental for inflatables that could be used wet or dry, starting as low as $150. They also offer cotton candy and popcorn machine rentals. For more information, contact Quinn Eccles at 706-351-7276. Again, shop Paul Family Party Rental or contact Quinn Eccles at 706-351-7276.